The 26th of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. Hey, Phil.
Hello, how you doing?
Morning, Phil. Okay. Let's see. I think we did the Gemora with the Rashi up to Amar Reb Chia. Amar Reb Chia bar Abba, Amar Rebbe Yochanan, right before the Mishnah.
Got it. I read?
Please.
Hamagbiya ha Metzia lacha vero. Someone picks up a fine on behalf of his fellow. Kana chavero has acquired it. V'im tomar mish nachenu.
Mishnah Seinu.
If you will object because of our Mishnah, Damar Tana Li, where he said, give it to me, below Amar Zechei Li, and he didn't say acquire it for me.
Okay.
So that's, it kind of left, it asked the question but didn't answer it.
No, I think this is the teretz.
Well, the teretz is that since he didn't say acquire it for me.
Yeah.
But I thought we said he did acquire it.
Well, we actually had two different ways to explain the ratio of the Mishnah with the writer, when the writer tells the pedestrian, give that chayfetz to me.
Right. If the pedestrian gives it to him and then says, I acquired it for myself, and he didn't say anything, which means to me that the writer acquired it in that case.
Yeah, that's where the walker gave it to him. Here we're talking about the ratio where he didn't give it to him yet. He didn't give it to him yet at all. It just says he picks it up for his friend. His friend acquires it. This is the machlekes really between Rav Nachman and who was it? Ula. Rav Nachman said you can't do it because of tofes bal chov b'makam shechav lacherim. It's causing you can't pick it up because it's works it's at the expense of other people who would want to pick it up. And Ula says no. He could acquire it for his friend. He could do so. So we already know that there's a machlekes amaroim about this very issue that Rav Chia bar Abba is saying over here in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. We already know that the amaroim already explained the first case of the Mishnah. Each one explained it in his own way. That comes out that it's going according to his view, what he holds. But here what we're saying is that we see that Rav Chia bar Abba is saying the name Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan is one of the the great Rabbi Yochanan, Gedolei Amaroim, that he in fact he sides with Ula against Rav Nachman. So it's a big machlekes amaroim over here. Many opinions on one side, many opinions on the other side. But in any case, he says, and if you'll say the Mishnah is a proof to Rav Nachman, so he has a different way of explaining why it's not a proof to Rav Nachman. Ula explained it in his way. Remember, Ula said that he disregarded what the guy said. He picked it up initially to make an acquisition for himself. That's what the Mishnah is telling me. And here we see that the Rabbi Yochanan, he's saying a different explanation of why it's not a support for those who say that lo kana chaveru. He's saying because the writer didn't say make an acquisition in it for me, but he just said give it to me, and he didn't even say please. How do you like that? It's not very nice. Okay, we're not learning derech eretz in the Gemora over here. So
I understand your point about the Resha, but don't we have to also justify the Seifa?
the Seifa was not even a question. The Seifa was not a question. The
Seifa is how come he acquires it?
Because we see that we say that even though he said even though the pedestrian says, oh, I really acquired it for myself before I gave it to you, or I acquired it for myself at the time that I picked it up, we say that's a bunch of baloney. Lo amar klum. We don't accept his claim because we see that what he did was he gave it to the rider. So we see that he didn't he never intended to do otherwise.
Oh, and then the rider acquires it for himself.
Yeah, if you remember, Rashi had a whole long Rashi on these words lo amar klum on the Mishnah.
Right.
He struggled to explain what it means over here, but the way that we were explaining it, it doesn't come out as a support or a challenge to either position.
Right.
The issue which is is coming from the Resha. The Resha is the case where they're arguing about.
Right. Right.
Okay, so this is what Rabbi Yochanan explains, because the writer didn't say make an acquisition in it for me, but all he said was give it to me. And here Rashi also has a very a nice long Rashi over here for Phil to read if he wants to read it.
Yeah, a long Rashi. Yeah, boy, and just when I thought it was going to be a short Rashi. Okay.
Because over here the lines are twice as long as the lines above, so it's really like it's 8 lines. This Rashi.
Okay, so we're up to the second wide line.
Yeah.
And if you would say it's our Mishnah, the Katani that we taught on Izachiti Ba, that I'm going to merit it, Zachaba, he does get that. Umashma, and the meaning is Umashmalan, and the meaning, and it says, you learn from it, Ani Zocheba. Wait, I said it. Did I skip a line? Time out. No, Bani Zocheba, and I'm going to get it. Akshav, now. Zocheba, he does get it. He's getting it. Now it's mine. But Apple P, even though Shavbia Litzarech Chavero, even if he's picked it up for the needs of his friend, because he's getting it because he picked it up. It's mine. If he wants to give it to his friend, that's a later thing. Right now, he's Zochel the item. Hayinu mashma, that has a meaning of mishum the katani, because it was taught v'amar le'chavero, and he says to his friend, Tanali, give it to me. Below Oma Zacha. And he didn't say acquire it from me. Zacha Atali, you should acquire it from me. The Hegbas, from when he in his lifting, Nimsa you find Shalo Asu Shliach. That he's not made a Shliach in that case. No, to acquire it. The Hagba would lifts it up. Only Sha'at Natina, only until when he gives it to him. The Hare Kodem, and that is before the Natina, Hadarbo, before he gave it to him, he changed his mind on it. He reverted the fact that I'm going to give it to him. He picked it up, acquired it, and instead of giving it to him, he changed his mind. Zeh Chadar Zo Meshli Chadar. He retracted, so to speak, is the best word from it, from his agency, his shlichus of giving it to the guy, to his friend.
Yeah, so Rashi, you see, he's explaining the case of Ani Zachisi Ba, but and the Mishnah says Zochaba. So that's the case of the Reisha. And so Rashi's saying Mashmalon Ani Zochaba Akshav. Rashi's going with the interpretation of Reb Nachman that we're the implication of the Mishnah is that he's saying I'm zocha, the pedestrian saying I am zocha after he had already picked it up. He's saying I am zocha in it right now, and on that the Mishnah says zochabo. He has in fact successfully acquired it. And Rashi points out, Afopi shehegbia litzarech havero. Oh, here comes Alan. Okay, Alan. Yay, Alan. You did it. You got your red mic on. We can't hear you. But just take off the red mic. Don't take down the picture. Okay. So we're in the middle of this Rashi over here.
Okay. We're in.
You got it.
Okay.
We're on 10A3.
10A3. And Rashi is explaining to us the whole ins and outs of this Gemora and the significance of the statement of Rabbi Yochanan over here. So really Rabbi Yochanan holds like Ula, that holds that the Jew number one cannot successfully pick it up for Jew number two. Basically, that's what he's saying. But he's saying, even if you'll explain the Mishnah in the way that Reb Nachman explained it, that Afol Pi Shehegbia L'Tzar Chavero, he initially when the pedestrian picked it up, he picked it up for the sake of Havero, of the rider that told him to pick it up. Even though that is so, Hainu Taima, the reason why the Mishnah says that nevertheless the rider does not acquire it at that point, but rather the pedestrian acquires it afterwards when he decides he wants to make a kinyan in it for himself. Rashi explains the reason for that is mishum diktani va'oma lechavero tanali. It's because when the rider instructed him, he told him tanali, give the thing to me. But he did not say, atali, he didn't say, when you pick it up, you should make an acquisition in it for me. He did not say that. Nimsa says Rashi, Shaloi Osu Shliach Lahaknos Lo. I'm reading it together with the corrections of the Oz V'Hadar. So it comes out that Rashi's now saying that there was a shlichus that was going on over here. There's a shlichus that the writer he did not make the pedestrian a shliach to acquire it for him b'hagbasa with him picking it up. Shas Nesina. Only until the time that he gives it to him. That was when the shlichus was going to work. Bare kodem Nesina, but before he gave it to the guy, before he gave it to the writer, Hadarbo, he reneged on that shlichus. Hadarbo zeh mishlichuto. He backed out and reversed his position in regard to that shlichus.
How do we know he ever accepted the shlichus? Maybe when he picked it up, he initially intended just to pick it up for himself.
That's what Ula says. That's right. That's another way of explaining what happened.
I see. But Rav Yochanan says we assume that he accepted the shlichus initially.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. It comes out from Rabbi Yochanan. That if he would have told him, if he would have used the language of Zachali in this chayfetz, then according to Rabbi Yochanan would have said it works. It does work. It would have worked.
Right. But Ula would say in any case it wouldn't work.
Right. Ula says it would not work even if he said Zachali, because he holds that the Gemora said, he says that he holds it's the expense of others who would want to pick it up. So even if he used yeah, right. So there's different opinions over here. Because really, Rabbi Yochanan says, "Hamagbia Metzia lechavero, kona chavero." So actually, Rabbi Yochanan, he's coming out with that. Well, that is right. That's the way that Ula holds. Getting mixed up in the shitas over here. We got Ula, we got Rabbi Yochanan, we've got Reb Nachman. Okay, that's the end of that sugya. Now we go to the Mishnah. So hooray for that sugya.
Yay!
Okay, so now we know that is a machlokes amaroim. So if somebody asks you, you're waiting in line at the makolet, and somebody asks you, oh, by the way, what's the din about hamagbia metzia lechavero kona chavero? You'll say, oh, well, actually, the Gemora in Bava Metzia says it's a machlokes amaroim. So you'll be prepared. Okay. All right. Mishnah. Alan, would you like to read the Mishnah?
Ro'or es hamasior of a norval or lehor. If someone saw a fine, for example, an onerous article and fell upon it, before and another came and seized it, Zik bor, Zachor bor, the one who seized it has acquired it. Now the Gemora goes on to say, the Gemora cites a ruling which will be found to be related to our Mishnah. Omar Ray Lutish Mishum Abor Kohen Bara the law Reish Lakish stated in the name of Abba Bohan Bordella Arba Amos Shell or Dom Konos Lo Belor Makom. A person for almost acquire an object for him in any location. May Ta'amor, what is the reason? Ta'kinu Rabonor, the low S in Surrey, the rabbis instituted this method of acquisition so that people would not come to quarrel with one another. The Gemara introduces two objections. The Bishop is ruling are Bayai Mosi, Rabbi Chior Bar Yosef Pir, Rav Chia Bar Yosef challenged Reish Lakish's statement from a Mishnah in Tractate Peah. Rabbi said, Mosi Rabbi Yaakov Bar or Idua Nizikun Rav Yaakov Bar Aina challenged Reish Lakish's statement from Mishnah in Seder and Zika. More elaborates. Rabbi Chia Bar Yosef's challenge Omar Baye. Baye said, Mosi Rabbi Chior Bar Yosef Peor, Rabbi Chia Bar Yosef challenged Reish statement from the Mishnah in Tractate Peah, which states, Notal Mikatsas Pior the Barak al Hasher. If someone took some paya and threw it over the wrist, Ain Lo Bor Kalum, he does not have right in it at all. No fell, low, or lehor. If he fell upon it, Paras Taliso or lehor, or if he spread his cloak over it, Mirin also a mornet, they may remove him from it. Below Omer, the same applies with regard to a forgotten sheep.
Okay. I told you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for setting up for me.
Now let someone else take over because of the drilling.
Okay. So we see in the Mishnah says, Rosa Metzia, if somebody sees a Metzia, it's basically a hefker item, even though the word itself, he sees something that's found, Metzia. V'nafal aleha. What's he do? He falls on top of it. So he doesn't acquire it like that. He doesn't acquire it because he saw it. He doesn't acquire it because he fell on top of it. It's still hefker. It's ownerless. Somebody else comes along after him, even though he came after him, even though the first person wanted to get it, but he makes some type of a kinyan, hechzik bo, zeh bo, zocha bo, the one that was maksik in it, he's the one that made the kinyan first, he's the one who acquires it. So that's the Mishnah. Okay, so then let's go to we don't have any Rashi on the Mishnah itself. The first Rashi is Dibra Maskil Konoslo. And let's see, Lou, would you like to read that?
Okay, you want to go over the Reish Lakish first?
Yeah, okay. Rish Lakish said, in the name of Abba Kahana Bardalis, he said that Arba Amos Shal Adam Konoslo B'Kol Makom. The 4 Amos that are in the range of a person where he is, he's standing there, he's sitting there, whatever it is, anything which is in his Dalet Amos, Tekinu Rabbanan. The Rabbanan gave him they made an ordinance that he should be nobody should start up with him and try to get it away from him. The Loasi Linsue, to prevent the people getting into fights. Don't want any fighting. Okay, so
Okay, requires it. Konoslo in the Rashi. In Yesh Saviv O So the Saviv O Sav Debar Hefker Ein Achar Rishoi Le Sof So. So if there is, what is this word, Savivo Sav?
around him.
If there is around him something that is ownerless, he does not, I'm sorry, the other one does not it's not appropriate for him. What is this word? Lechovsu.
The Tofso.
To grab it.
Take it for himself.
To take it for himself. So if there is around him something that is ownerless, the other one is not able to take it for himself.
Right? He's not allowed. Ein Rishoy. He has no permission. That's what it means that the Rabbanan came along with this takana, and they made a takana that this item is konoslo. It's acquired to him. Him is the one who's standing there, sitting there within Dalet Amos of this hefker item. Rashi saying Savivosov, that's within the Dalet Amos of this person, Jew number 1. So Jew number 2 cannot come into the Dalet Amos of Jew number 1 and make an acquisition on a hefker item which is in the Dalet Amos of Jew number 1. It's not allowed.
So Rashi is clarifying what Reish Lakish is saying, that seems to contradict the Mishnah, because the Mishnah says the other one acquires it, and Reish Lakish is saying the other one doesn't acquire it.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So how can Reish Lakish contradict the Mishnah?
Okay. We'll see. We'll see how we'll deal with that. Good question. Okay. So let's go further. We are up to Amar Abaye. Oh, so Alan read Amar Abaye. What did Abaye say exactly? Mostly for Rav Chia Bar Yosef. Rav Chia Bar Yosef asked from a Mishnah in Peah, and Mosif means he challenged. He challenged him from a Mishnah in Peah. Oh, so what does it say in the Mishnah in Peah?
There's a Rashi on Amar Abaye.
What?
There's a Rashi on this statement, Amar Abaye.
Okay, let's see.
Amar Abaye. Let's see, we just did the Konos. Amar Abaye. Mosi Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia like made a challenge. Abaye challenged Rabbi Chia. Allah Tiyufta on him. No, I skipped a line. Here it is. Allah on the matter of Hefker. Ein acher. No, you said that. Sorry. Allah Tiyufta on his upschlaging the Mishnah of our Mishnah Peah.
I don't see what Rashi's adding.
I think it's Rashi. Does the Gemora say that it's for Mishka Peah?
Yeah.
It does say Peah.
Mosif Rav Chia Bar Yosef Peah. What I have difficulty over here is it's like Lou pointed out. The Mishnah. Okay, he's probably not asking on the Mishnah. Fine, but after the Mishnah came along Reish Lakish and said that there's a takana of Daled Amos Shalodam is kana to prevent fighting between people. So I guess presumably Abaya is reporting. Amar Abaya reports the following thing: Mosif Rav Chia Bar Yosef Peah. It was Rav Chia Bar Yosef who asked this question from the Mishnah in Peah. Who did it? What was? We don't know what it says in the Mishnah in Peah, and we're not told explicitly who the question is on. I'm assuming that the question is on what Reish Lakish just got through saying.
Right, but Rashi should tell us that, right?
But Rashi doesn't tell us that. He says a tiyufta is raised from the Mishnah in Maseches Peah. Okay.
Right. My English says Rashi, Reish Lakish's statement, but I don't know where my English got that from.
Yeah, that's because this is where we got it from. We're not going to ask. Mosif, the language of Mosif in the Gemora means that you're asking you're making a challenge from a Tanaic source to an Amora. So the only Amora that we've got so far is Reish Lakish. He's the only one that said anything after the Mishnah.
Right.
So that's the.
It's got to be.
So maybe that's why Rashi didn't bother to tell us. It's obvious. It's obvious.
Right.
But I don't know why you're right. Unless Rashi's clarifying that it says in the Gemora Peah, Rashi's clarifying that we're talking about a the challenge is coming from a Mishnah in Peah. That's not so clear from the Gemora. It just says Peah. He asked the challenge of Peah.
I know what Rashi's telling us. My English says in tractate Peah.
Yeah, right.
So the tractate, Rashi's telling us that it's the tractate. It's the Maseches.
Yeah. Yeah, he's identifying where, he's not telling us exactly where it is, but he's telling us that this word that it says Peah in the Gemara, it means to refer to a Mishnah in Maseches Peah.
Right. So my question is, why is Abaye going to Peah to challenge when he could challenge from our Mishnah?
Okay, we'll see. Good. So, so what did Rava say? Amar Rava, Mosif Rabbi Yaakov bar Idi, Nezikin. Oh, he said, and Rava was reporting that Rabbi Yaakov bar Idi, he made a challenge to Reish Lakish from a Mishnah in Seder Nezikin. Okay, so we're already piling up the questions on Reish Lakish, but nobody seems to be asking the question from our Mishnah right here.
Right.
Okay, then the Gemara is going to go into. Looks like we are going to go into what the Mishnah in Peah says in the next step. Gemara is just giving us a headline. We got the headline, and now we can read the story. Okay.
I read the Rashi on Amar Rava.
Yeah.
Allah masnisin de seder zikin. Okay, so it's just telling us, it's just giving us the directions. So that it's in Seder Nezikin.
Right. Yeah. Once again, Rashi is saying this. It says Nezikin. It's referring to the question was from a Mishnah in Seder Nezikin. Seder Nezikin meaning like it could be from Bava Metzia, it could be in Bava Kama, it could be in Bava Basra.
Right.
There's all Seder Nezikin. Okay. Very good. So we'll continue this for Yom Rishon Bezrat Hashem.
Amen. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem.
Shabbat
It's
shalom.
Hashem. Shabbat Shalom, Phil. All the best.
Phil.
Do you
Enjoy
know
your
that?
Shabbos.
Do you know that Roy is in the hospital?
No.
Where's the hospital? What happened?
Yeah, he went, I think, last night early in the morning. He had a twisted bowel, so they did some procedure to help him.
Oy, dear, that's very painful.
Nice.
My mother had that, Allah Shalom.
His daughter is there with him right now.
Oh, Baruch Hashem.
Bring
That's
him
nice.
overnight. All being well, he should be home tomorrow.
And Hannah is okay? She's taken care of?
Hannah's home. Hannah's at home.
But does she need help?
She's okay. She's all right. I've been on the phone with her.
Do we know Roy's Hebrew name?
Yeah, it's Tzemach Ben Pesha.
Tzemach
Ben Pesha.
Esha. Thank you so much. And I'll see you at 4, Alan.
You coming at 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you
Thanks a lot. See you later. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All the
Okay.
best. Suras Toivas. Yeshua, Svenachamos, Rufus.
Amen.
Kol Klal Yisrael. Tzemach ben Pesha Bezrat Hashem Refuah Shlema Min Hashemayim Refuah Nefesh Refuah Aguf Sok Shachar Yisrael V'Noma Omein.
Amen.